My name is Dallas Rakinen. I am a CDW badged, and I'm one of the people that's going to be moderating the chat today. I am a solution architect for Endpoint. So basically, I'm here to help with things Endpoint, including device selection and solutions. We are recording today's session. I am excited to be here to support HP and all of you. We're in such great hands today. We have Aaron here to geek out with us. Aaron provides some of the best knowledge drops around. HP are leaders in so many ways in so many spaces. Today, Aaron and the team will be exploring some of HP's technology and some of their solutions. I do want to let you know that we do have many client-facing motions related to today's talk tracks, so feel free to reach out to me if you need help to land and expand any of these conversations or build on your knowledge to be able to help you carry that conversation forward. So everyone that knows me knows that I will always exchange a quick round of fun facts before we start a meeting. Because of the size of today's meeting, I'm going to rely on the rest of you popping your fun fact that is not work related into the chat space. But I'm going to share a quick one before I hand it over to Aaron. All right, so earlier this month, my son and I participated in Extra Life. This is our third year in a row. Extra Life is a 24-hour gaming marathon where you actually game for 24 hours in the name of a local hospital. So my son raised over $800 for our local hospital here. And on a note there, I just want to say, be sure to leverage your charity matching that CDW offers before the end of the year. It's coming up, and I would love to have you guys leverage some of that money for some of the charities that are important to you. Now, I'd like to hand it over to Aaron. Aaron, take it away.
Fantastic. So everybody can see my content now. Yes, we're good. So my name is Erin, and I am a practice builder at HP for CDW. So that's just pretty much, I'm all things collaboration. So anything to do with the collaboration story, I'm focusing on that, supporting CDW and CDW's customers. So today I'm taking you through a bunch of different experiences with my colleague Molson, who can introduce himself when I pass it over to him. But I'm going to talk through a few little things first, and then we'll go into some live demos. Also, we have some colleagues online that will be monitoring the chat. So if you do have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. And then if we do have time at the end of the presentation, then we can open it up and we can do some live questions if we have time. Okay. So let's jump in here. First, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking time to spend 45 minutes with us to go over to, see some of these experiences that we have. And as a thank you, we're giving everybody a gift card, a $10 coffee gift card, as well as one lucky winner gets a Poly Voyager Focus 2, which is one of our flagship enterprise grade stereo headsets. Great headset, has a lot of audio innovations that you'll see today. So a lot of them you'll see or experience today. So thank you for joining us. So stick around to the end, and then you should get an email with all your treats and be notified if you won the headset after the webinar. Okay. So I want to take a few minutes just to ground you on what's happening in Canada and with Canadian organization and how it relates to worker experience and the importance of technology. So a few years ago, HP developed something called the Work Relationship Index. And this is a comprehensive study from about 12 countries and over 15,000 participants. And it's a study around deep insights on work dynamics and the role of productivity and the integration of technology into that work. And we have some very specific Canadian data as well to share that comes from this Work Relationship Index. And so one of the most alarming stats is that only 23% of Canadian knowledge workers have a healthy relationship with work. And to be honest, and I was in a training a few weeks ago and the slides hadn't been updated. I was told that number's dropped actually. It's actually at 15% now. So we've dropped 8%. So only 15 Canadian knowledge workers have a healthy relationship with work. So that's pretty terrible. Some other Canadian facts are 76 say it's critical that their company gives them the tools they need to do meaningful work, and only 26% say that that's actually happening. So I'm not going to go into any more detail around the workforce relationship index, but I think it's important for us to talk about it and then to set the stage. And now we're going to go into some of those experiences that will hopefully help close that gap for Canadians that and provide that better work balance, right? Okay. All right. So before I go into the details, I definitely need to just talk a little bit about product, because that's what HP sells, is products, or we sell experiences through products. So here's our full stack. So we have a very complete solution. We are the only company that can take you through every part of your day with every endpoint that you would use. We also are Canadians' most sustainable tech company. I think that's important to say, and we can prove it. And if you want to hear more about that, we actually did a podcast with CDW. So we did an episode on the CDW Tech Podcast. So if you're interested in hearing about our sustainability and why we are the most sustainable tech company in Canada, then you can go ahead and take a look at that podcast, or you can reach out to me and happy to review it with you. So all these bubbles provide a better experience some way or another from HP, but today we're just focusing on two of these bubbles. So the compute and the next gen AIs, as well as the Poly collaboration bubble. So HP offers a ton of different PCs, right? And we have a large lineup of next gen AI PCs. And next gen AI PCs are PCs with an NPU, or we can call them Copilot Plus PCs, because Copilot Plus has specific requirements for hardware, and one of that is an NPU. And I'll talk a little bit more about this as we go through some of the live demos. And then we have a ton of collaboration solutions out there that take you from like a headset to a physical phone to a video system. Okay, there are a few things that I want to call out about HP, just because I'm talking about product and it's like our best kept secret. So a lot of people say, you know, why HP, what makes us different is one, our overall breadth of solution. We have a huge portfolio for everything to do with anything you have to do in respect to technology, and a huge portfolio of AI powered devices, including boardrooms. We do have the most comprehensive device management platform out there. It's a fairly new product. It's called Workforce Experience Platform. It can monitor everything on that other slide, as well as our competing products, our competitors' products. We have the most secure PC in the world, and that's a fact. And then we have something called HP Service Promise that I want to call out. And that's if you buy your PCs and you add a service contract, or what we call care pack, to it, and you don't use it, and when it expires and you haven't used it, you can get your money back. You can call back into HP, submit a claim, and we send you your money back. And that's the HP Service Promise. So these are all very important pieces that I wanted to touch on before I get into what we're here to talk about. Okay. Let's talk about the experiences. So I'm going to walk you through some of these collaboration experiences from Poly and on the AI PC. But in order to talk about experiences, I feel like we need to talk a little bit about why experiences matter, right? So we know that Canadians have a very unhealthy relationship with work, at least 85% do. But we also know that that's not related to just technology, right? There's a number of things that contribute to that. There is fulfillment, there's of you personally with your job, there's leadership, right? There's skills, or maybe skills you want, or skills that you can't get to, right? But one of them we know is technology and the experiences with technology. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience and my everyday. So I work in a hybrid model. I work in my home office, which I'm at today, and I work at the HP office 1 day a week, and I work on the road, or I work in what I call a third space. That's anywhere that's not my two main spots, right? So it could be in my car, it could be if I'm traveling on a train or a plane, it could be at a coffee shop, or it could be at the CDW office, because I do go there once a week and I work from CDW once a week. So that's my third space. And so at home, I have a setup. So I have two screens, and I have a headset, and I have speaker. I have a headset that gives me ANC. So that's the headset I'm wearing right now, where it will block out all the external noise. Because sometimes I have children and they make a lot of noise. So sometimes I just need to focus and I don't need that external noise. I have things that aren't technology related. I have my chair, right, which I find very comfortable. I love this chair. I have my dog who sleeps actually right over behind me on the dog bed. I have a coffee machine because I love coffee. So these are all things that make my experience really great on working from home. When I go into the office, I obviously take my computer. I have a second screen there. I take my headset. I like my mouse. I bring my mouse, right? These are all things that give me a good experience at the office. And then when I'm on the road, I'll usually have a headset and my computer, etc. So if I didn't have these tools, then I would not feel like I would be as productive. And I would most likely be a little frustrated with the tasks I have to do. Therefore, I'd be fighting with my hybrid work experience. And therefore, my hybrid work strategy was not working, right? So things like, for example, if I work for HP, there's a million different tools and different systems I need to get into. I may have multiple spreadsheets open. If I need to go and do a task that makes me have to go into multiple different screens, and if I don't have a second screen, then that task is a little bit harder. So maybe it takes me 2 minutes more to do it, and therefore I'm a little bit more frustrated because I can't be as productive as I want to be, right? This is so I can absolutely say that my relationship with work has a lot to do with the technology that I have access to. So how do you fix this for your users? How do you know what technology to provide? Because there's lots of different personalities in every organization. So how do you decide what's best for your users? So this is where you need to consider looking at assigning personas to your users and understanding what needs they need to be successful, because we know that employees want a customized and personalized experience. We know this. And I'm sure you have persona discussions, or I'm sure persona discussions aren't new for you. But what is the key is to understand how your users work to ensure that you are not over provisioning and spending money where you don't need to, or under provisioning and contributing to the unhealthy relationship with work, right? That we have as Canadians, right? Okay, so today, HP has personas that we have built based on our insights and based on the workforce index, relationship index, based on other information we have, and we build these as typical IT users of an organization. So regardless of the name, because the name really doesn't make a difference. These are personas, we've given them names, but they could be called persona A, B, C, it doesn't really make a difference here. These are pretty consistent with the industry. Like I've seen these similar style personas in the industry. But it's the research behind it that makes the difference, right? Because we are asking questions like how people want to work, what devices they work with, right? I'm not saying, hey, do you want to use a Poly Voyager Legend 50 headset versus, or this type of keyboard. We're not asking these questions. We're saying, what's your primary device, right? Where do you like to communicate? Do you like to email, text, physically call? These are all things that that build a persona, right? What tools do you use when you're in the office? Where do you like to work, right? Where's your preferred location? So based on all this information, we are able to lay out some recommended equipment. But the persona discussion, although the technology piece is important, the persona discussion gives you a lot more insights, more so than you think. Like, for example, might help with furniture that you choose for your users. It will help you navigate, maybe redoing your office. So for example, if I have if I have surveyed my organization and my workforce is distributed at one particular office one way, where let's say, my Toronto office has 50% of the users are office collaborators and 50% are modern leaders or road warriors. Then my office layout may be different because I know when, you know, a road warrior is in the office, they're in the office 20% of the time, and when they're in the office, they are spend most of their time in a medium boardroom, right? So then maybe you need to plan with medium boardrooms in mind. So personas are more than just, hey, I'm going to get this headset and this mouse. It's a lot bigger conversation. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the modern leader. So we picked that persona to dig into and to talk about some of the experience that this persona would have. So a day in the life of a modern leader, they may start in their home office and then, you know, then do a couple calls, some emails, who knows, and then they might travel into their office, another office, to work in some sort of shared space or cubicle or hoteling station. So now I'm going to actually stop sharing, and I'm going to pass it over to Mohsen, my colleague, who's going to take a few minutes and show you live some innovations from HP that will help the modern leader when working from these locations. So I'm going to stop sharing, and then Mohsen, I'm going to spotlight the Herndon Rose.
Yes.
A window, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I think I just did that. Oh, yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah. You might have to stop stop spotlighting you. Okay. All right. As long as everyone can see me, that's what's key. Okay. So I'm here in my kind of modern leader office environment. I've got my screen. I've got my laptop. I've got a headset. I'm on my Poly. This is called the CCX line phone, and so it's running Teams mode on it automatically. Let me just curve it a little bit there, become easier to see. And so I'm having a conversation on speaker, which is great. You know, it's helpful, but there are colleagues coming in. I'm not all by myself in my work environment, so I should probably pick up my conversation. So now that I can have a conversation with you guys, it's loud and clear. Now, with our technology, we've built in a lot of that, what we call acoustic fence technology and noise reduction technology into our handsets. So now if I'm having a conversation and I decide that I'm gonna, there's other people around me, they're making noise, I don't want that to be disturbing. If, for example, if I walk away, I can continue talking, but you don't hear me until the phone comes back to my ear again. This is just an example of how we're eliminating external noise from being picked up when you're having a meeting with your customer or anyone else. They're really hearing just your voice. But as I thinking about, hey, you know, I got to move around. I can't just sit at my desk and hold it in my hand. I'm gonna move to my into my headset, so I can easily switch over. Lower down the bar, and now I can have the same conversation off of my Blackwire 8225 headset. This again a wired solution, which is great for customers that are looking for that wired capabilities. Sometimes it's federal organizations that need it, government organizations that need it. It's also a great way to really provide that for your entire fleet of staff that might be looking for something to have. So they're more comfortable in getting work done. They can type now. Again, you get noise cancellation technology into it. You also have, and then you bring it back down and continue having conversations. So a lot of innovation built into these. I just want to give you an example of that as we explore. You know, we can run noise in the background. So if you ever have customers that are looking at any of these phone, headset, audio solutions that make their life easier on a day-to-day, let us know. We can even set up virtual demos and provide demonstrations so the customers can really see the value that they're might be being told about and actually experience it. Back to you, Aaron.
Sorry, guys. I am unspotlighting Mohsen here, so I can go back to my slides. All right. Okay, friends. Sorry. All right. So this modern leader, so that's a modern leader, and that's them at their desk, right? Or at a hoteling station. So this modern leader may have to visit a meeting space during their day. So maybe that could be a one-on-one space, it could be a medium-sized boardroom, or really any size boardroom, or it could be an executive briefing they have to go into before, and this is things that they're doing throughout the day in whichever space they're in, whether it's their office or someone else's office, and then at the end of the day, they may travel back to their home office. So now I'm passing it back to Mohsen, who's going to actually show us some audio innovations in a boardroom. And this time, Mohsen, I'm going to spotlight the other window here. There we go, the Everglades.
Excellent. Yeah, that other Herndon Rose is gone now. So excellent. Thank you, Aaron. So here now we're going to be demonstrating a couple of the innovations that exist around our bars. So I'm on a StudioX bar, one of our collaboration products. This is the X72. We have the X52 and X32. These are different Android-based all-in-one bars for easy deployment for any sort of use case, small, medium, or large. Now, on the X72, it's picking me up. It's just a bar, powerful mice, picking up anywhere I walk in the room. No matter how far back I go, you're going to be able to hear me loud and clear. Now, as we think about innovation, we got to think about what are some of the things we're concerned about. One thing that we're concerned about being able to eliminate external noise from bleeding in. So we have technology called acoustic fence technology. If I turn it on and I walk outside, Aaron, give me a thumbs up when you stop hearing that conversation, you can tell that I exited and I'm back in. Acoustic fence is creating a V pattern out from the center of the bar and creating a cone of silence for you. That innovation can be adjusted on the back end as an admin portal to make changes. Next, we're going to talk about audio innovation within the four walls of your conference room. As you think about noise that gets built within the room, people dragging their feet sometimes can be disturbing. You have individuals maybe deciding to start eating, their bag of chips can cause a concern. You also then can deal with other noises that are not needed for a meeting. And so those are concerned. On top of acoustics, reverb, sound bouncing off hard surfaces, all of those are matters and of great importance to us at HP Poly to say, how can we eliminate that? And one way to eliminate, we call the technology called Noise Block AI version 2.0. With Noise Block AI version 2.0 turned on, my audio clears up. I sound crisp and clear to you guys on the other end. On top of that now, I've eliminated probably the most hardest thing to get rid of is noise from a simple bag of chips. Doesn't get heard no more. Now, the entire team can come into a room, have a presenter speaking, even open their sodas, wrestle paper, type on a keyboard. Some people get nervous to click on their pens. All that stuff now gets eliminated and no longer heard on their end. So that is just some of the audio innovation built in. Acoustic fence technology to kind of eliminate external noise from bleeding in, and then noise block AI technology to eliminate the noise within the room that's not heard and only the audio of the speaker is heard. So great innovation. Pass off to you back to Aaron.
Thank you so much. Okay, stop spotlighting. So we're back. And let me share my screen. Okay. All right, folks. So now we're going to move on to the second persona, and that's the office collaborator. So the office collaborator works a little bit different than the modern leader. So as these folks are in the office and not working on the road, so if they're not working on the road or moving around to third spaces, then their technology will be different, right? So we can look at an office collaborator and how they work. They are working in maybe a private office or maybe a shared space or a cubicle. And so when they're collaborating, so they're still collaborating, but when they're collaborating at their desk, they'll need a headset or access to personal video. So what I'm actually gonna talk a little bit about now is what HP has done to make video better on the compute. So HP has taken all the years and years of audio and video innovations from Poly and put it in their new PCs. So we're making the sound, you sound better and look better just using the hardware built into the PC. Keep in mind, this doesn't replace the headset. There's always a time and place for a headset, but we're making the notebooks better and clearer using Poly innovation. So you'll see on all the new notebooks, it says Poly Studio somewhere, either on the top, the side, or the back of all the new notebooks. So let me talk a little bit about how giving the Office Collaborator, how we can give the Office Collaborator a better video experience. So on our next gen AI PCs, there is a new app called Poly Camera Pro, and I'm going to show it to you soon. The goal of this app is to provide a comprehensive video and streaming experience in a single place. So what the app does is it puts a filter on any camera you have plugged into your computer. And so it could be the built-in camera, right? So we're making that built-in camera on your laptop better. So this works with any collaboration app. So Zoom, Teams, Meet, whichever one you move. So I don't know about you guys, but I use Teams primarily as my main collaboration platform. But I also log into Zoom calls, and sometimes I log into Meet, and sometimes I log into other platforms as well, depending on who I'm talking to. And many times, because I don't use Zoom, let's say for every meeting, I'll log into a Zoom call, and then I'll have like a weird background from, you know, a retirement party or like a birthday, and everyone had the same background, right? And I'll be like, oh, I have to change it. So that what Polycamera Pro does is it eliminates that, right? You set your settings for how you want to be seen and be heard within Polycamera Pro, and then you just apply that to every single UC app that you're using. So what's great also about Polycamera Pro is it does run, it's completely built for the NPU. So it's running on my NPU. So right now I'm using a next-gen AI PC. So I have an HP G1A next-gen AI PC that I use every day. And this app is running on my NPU and blurring my background and framing me for any UC platform and taking the workload off my CPU and GPU, which is not, so it allows me to have meetings all day long without compromising the efficiency and the performance of my actual machine, right? And that means better battery life because my CPU isn't being used all day long to run these calls, and the fan isn't kicking in, therefore my battery is lasting longer, right? So these are all different applications for your AI PC. So I'm going to show you Polycamera Pro live here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my Polycamera Pro onto my screen that I'm sharing, because I'm sharing my whole screen. Everybody can see that, right? Yes.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Sorry, I had to move some things around here. So you'll see two of me right now, right? You're going to see me in the Teams call, and then you're going to see me on the screen on Polycamera Pro. So here you can see one advantage of Polycamera Pro is I have a filter that has a border, right? It has my name, it has my email address, has my my position, and I could go ahead and I can make changes to that if I want to. So if I wanted to change my name, if I wanted to, you know, not have this border around, if I wanted to put a custom border in, right? This is all things I can do. And then I can save this filter into the side of my tray here on the side, and I can move through them depending on, you know, what I'm doing. So for example, right now I have a blurred background through Polycamera Pro. So I have this like very light blurred background. I can make it heavier if I want to. I can adjust, you know, my quiet blur to be less blurry, right? I could choose this filter. So this is another one I have, which is the watermark on the bottom. And then you can see I've taken my blur off, and I have a Christmas tree behind me, etc. Right? So you can see this is my live background. Another filter that we have access to is the ability to put multiple inputs. So I have this one here, And this is actually picking up multiple cameras I have plugged in. So I work for HP. I specialize in collaboration. So obviously I have lots of different cameras. This wasn't necessarily a use case for you, but I have 3 separate cameras feeding into my Poly Camera Pro. And then I also have a live feed of a content here. So what I'll do is I will show you, I don't know if you could see if it's too small, but if I move my mouse around the content, it moves inside the box. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully everybody can see that. So the idea here, yep. So the idea here is that for you, you wouldn't necessarily have multiple views of yourself here. What you might want to do is have like a second camera pointing at something if you're showcasing something within your call. Or let's say in this scenario, I have me as a bubble and my content, right, is a little bit bigger here. So the idea is you can set all these filters up and have them ready so you can move around depending on what you need to do. So I'm going to go back to my favorite here. Another thing Polycamera Pro does is it does auto frame too, so I can turn that on and then it's going to track me wherever I am on just my webcam, because that's all I'm using right now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and I prefer this because that's my personalized experience. So all this is built in Polycamera Pro, and all of this is built in running on the MPU. Okie dokie. All right, so let's go back to this the Office Collaborator. So the other space we know that the Office Collaborator uses, other than using Polycamera Pro at their desk, is they use a meeting space. So I'm going to pass this back to Mohsen, who's going to show us some video innovations by HP for the boardroom that, let's say, a Office Collaborator might use. So again, I'm going to stop my content and I'm going to spotlight you, Mohsen.
Excellent. Thank you. So now we go into looking at video innovation. We talked about audio innovation earlier. Now we're going to go into video innovation. So as I'm on my X72 bar here in my demo studio in Herndon, Virginia, we're going to showcase some of the tracking features. So one is everyone's favorite is speaker tracking. Is really locating the speaker, immediately locating them, getting them on frame. Again, if I move myself around the frame, quickly locates me, puts me back in frame. That way the audience can track where I am and where the speaker is. Our next mission, my favorite, is group framing. Group framing is allowing you to capture multiple people at one time in a single frame. Now, I'm by myself, so we have a special guest here with us today. And he is joining us. So, as you can see, this is me and Michael Scott standing very close to each other. As many of you may know who Michael Scott is, very famous. He's awesome. He's a great guest to join us. Thank you very much. But most people don't stand this close when they're having a meeting with their colleague. So, for example, in group framing, if you're in a large conference room or there's something that you guys want to showcase, because like a fireside chat maybe, and I'm sitting further away from him, again, the camera's going to refocus, locate me, and put me in frame again. So group framing is great because if there's only one person in the room, it does speaker tracking. If there's multiple people in the room, it in essence grows until it captures everyone within frame. So that's the power of group framing. Next, we're going to go into what we call people framing, really giving individual speakers their own frame. So as you can see here, my hands is in 2 different levels, showcasing that we're getting tracked independently. And now you guys can see what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. You can see what Michael Scott's saying or not saying. With people framing, you can track currently at 6 individuals at one time. If the system detects more than 6 people within the room to track, let's say 7+ individuals in the room, it would default to group framing on its own. When the amount of people reduce back to 6 and below, it will go into people framing again. So again, people framing is really powerful when you really want to be able to capture everyone that's in the room and showcase that. Could that production will change in the future? Possibly, as they think through camera technology and other innovations. So right now it's capped at 6 individuals. As we talk about camera technology, we have to think about what about the 4 walls that were in our meeting room. We have to deal with individuals within our teams walking outside of our glass walls, or the camera picking up someone that's walking by and bring them in as a speaker. That can be disturbing and not ideal. So let me give you an example of it. So I've kicked Michael Scott out of the room. We don't need him in here. So as you see here, he's outside the room. You can tell from the fact that we were both outside on glass walls. So he's a speaker. He shouldn't be. He's just a colleague of mine that might be trying to bother me while I'm presenting. It could just be he's taking a phone call, or he could just be casually walking by and he's being picked up at the camera. So we've developed a technology called Director AI Perimeter. The Director AI Perimeter, in essence, limits the camera's view of the room. So as you can see, I turned it on. As soon as I turned it on, it started looking at the rules and eliminated Michael Scott from being captured as an individual. The camera still sees him, but because we created a geofence around the room with Director AI Perimeter, it's eliminating anyone outside of that window that we've created. It can be done on the back end by the administrator, or during deployment. You can do it on the TC10 touch controller in the room. So a device, where's the camera? There it is. So a device like this is part of our suite, and you can do a lot of the admin functions on here. Obviously, you need an admin password. The majority of the changes can be done on the back end using the admin function. So thank you. Anything else, Aaron?
No, that's good. That's great. Okay, I'm going to stop spotlighting you, and we're just going to go back to my presentation so we can close this off. All right, folks, so that's pretty much our live demo, and I just want to go over a few, next steps for you. So thank you, Mohsen, so much. It's always great to have you on. If you are interested in having a session with our virtual demo team, you can reach out to me because we can do this with you, your colleagues, your organization as well, and we could do it just a one-on-one. What we didn't show today, because we just focused on some experiences, but what we can showcase and what we didn't is overall product review as well as workflow. So if you are, wanting to put in Microsoft Teams room, but you don't know what that experience is for the far end, or sorry, for the user, you want to see, what do my users need to do when they come into a room? We can walk you through that entire workflow. So definitely reach out to your CDW rep if you want to experience our virtual demo. And also, Poly virtual demos, our teams do a great job, and it really, really is effective to demo product remotely because then you are the recipient of all the innovations, right? And so that's where we shine, is with all our innovations for our video and audio. If let's say you don't want to do the remote demo, virtual demo, then we do have a try and buy with CDW. So you can get a video bar and you could try it out for 30 days. And if you like it, you keep it. If you don't, you send it back. So again, reach out to your CDW rep. If you want to learn more about the HP Workplace Relationship Index and how terrible experience Canadians are having with work, or if you want to know more about personas and how to implement personas in your organization, again, reach out. One more thing I want to call out is if you need help exploring the value of AI on the local compute, CDW does have an AI device workshop that is available. And so if you've done the workshop or you're not interested in the workshop and you just want to try it out, we do have a CDW exclusive promotion, which is if you want to buy an AI PC to test and figure out how it works for your organization and all those all those apps that are running on the NPU, then through CDW, you can get a HP AI PC at 50% off for your first one. And with it, you get a free Voyager Focus 2 headset, which has all these great innovations that you saw today. So because we still have a few minutes left, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm more than happy to take any questions if anybody wants to come off mute and ask a question, then we can do that. And if not, that is fine also. Feel free to reach out to us through HP or through CDW. Sorry, Paul, did you have a question? Nope, Paul didn't. Just some background noise, Paul. So you need an HP solution. All right, thank you everybody for joining. I really appreciate your time, and reach out to you if you have any further questions.
And I'll add, Aaron, if you ever need to do a virtual demo for a customer, again, as Aaron said, let us know. We'd love to set up a virtual demo. We have several centers nationwide as well as several worldwide. So it can be virtual, or if you need to bring someone in person, we can schedule that as well if they're willing to travel and all that stuff. We'd love to host them. We have also technology centers that are focused on deep end innovation around print, on personal systems like laptops and workstations. So if there was a need for have a deep diver conversation and having engineers and senior vice presidents and other directors, as well as our design team involved in a particular opportunity, please let Aaron know, and we can then work to find the right people to get that organized. Obviously, that would take travel time, but we would love to host at some of our technology centers as well that are more hyper-focused on a particular product set. Thank you so much.
Aaron, I just wanted to flag a question in the chat. So what is the process to try out the 50% off for AI PC?
Yeah, so I just sent a note. So what I will do, since we have your name and email, is I will go and get your CDW rep, and I will have them reach out with the details.
Perfect.
That's a great opportunity, Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Well, if you just want to understand, I mean, the opportunity also with CDW is to go through the workshop, right? The AI workshop, device workshop. But if you just want to try a unit to figure out, how your users would use an AI PC, because we recognize maybe not all users require AI PCs, but some users will require AI PCs. You just want to try it out then and test it in your own environment, then this is a good way to start that process.
And I'll add is very helpful. Like I initially, when I started getting AI PC, I was like, I'm not sure. And then I started using it, and I was like, I can do my PowerPoints. I can do drafting templates that I want to send out to customers or colleagues. Rewrite certain things that I've written out that I want to make it more professional or more lighthearted. Amongst so much more complex tasks you can get done. We use it to pull in marketing data internally. So we'll have AI in essence pull thick data because it can. And so all of that function can support your day-to-day jobs. So, it does take some effort to do the prompts, that I will say, but it's very, very useful once you start using it. Just like, wow, it just made my day easier, especially when your manager tells you create a 5 PowerPoint deck with tons of information, and it's hard to find it all when you're manually looking for it. But when you tell AI to look for it internally, it makes it a lot faster.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great week.